Okay,
Go.
how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the May 21st edition of the DVMUG meeting. Um, you probably noticed Bruce was supposed to be our leader today, and guess what? He still is. The reason you're listening to me talk right now is because one of our requirements under the bylaws is that at our May meeting each year, we must open up the floor for nominations for the elections that will be held next month for our officers and board members. So we're going to get that done, and then we will move on with the regular festivities. So for those of you that don't know, there are 4 officer positions and 5 board of directors positions. Those 4 officer positions are president, which is me, vice president, which is Bruce, secretary, which is Tina Tannenbaum, and treasurer, who is Carol Greenlee. All 4 of those positions required re-election each year. We also have 5 board positions, which serve 2-year terms. So that means 1 year we will elect 2 members, and 1 year we will elect 3. This particular year, we're doing 3. And the candidates are Rick Calacura, Irene Bergamini, and Don Chu. I recently appointed Rick to fulfill Karen Mashi's remaining term because she needs to step away for a while. At this point, I would like to go ahead and open the floor for nominations. If anybody would like to be nominated, or it's not even considered bad form if you want to nominate yourself. You don't have to, but the only thing we ask is if you nominate someone else, make sure you got their permission first. So as of this moment, the floor is open for nominations. Do I have any? Could I have a motion to close nominations?
Anybody can do. A motion, we close the nominations.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor of closing nominations, please signify by saying aye if you're in support.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Well, that takes care of it. And I look forward to you guys joining us next month when we actually hold the elections. And take it away, Bruce.
Let me share the screen.
Do you want to stop the recording of the general meeting and then start it again for YouTube?
I thought we were going to leave it run. I can do
The
that.
thing is, since our meetings are open to the public anyway,
Okay.
I don't know that we're
we
really
didn't disclose
gaining
anything of any of importance.
Yeah.
Then the people who only see it on YouTube and didn't come to the meeting know what's going on.
You see my screen?
Yep. No.
No, you're not sharing, or at least it doesn't look like it from here.
Oops. Oh, yeah. Share.
Okay. Full screen and play. Okay, looks good.
Hello, everyone. For the reasons stated previously, my name is Bruce, and I will continue on with the presentation. As we know, first we'll see news, then I'll have videos. I have something regarding news. I have an extra thing that I didn't put on the news to be shown. I can say a few things about it later on. But the links for this, for the videos and the news have been uploaded to the BBS. For those of you that are able to log on to the BBS, just look at double click on the DVMUG folder, look for my email out there and click on the appropriate either videos or the news and read in depth the news and or the videos. Today, I don't have much. I've got a few videos and we will just proceed as soon as I can get this going here. So there we go with the little, what I have is news. So or first, before we do that, I always have this reminder where it updates. I'm sorry. I remind everybody to keep updating because a couple of days ago, everything was updated. So just if you see the red thing on your gear in the phone display, make sure you update. So the good news, this is from Apple Insider. They're saying that the iPhone 16 Max will get a new battery that's I'm reading it's more denser than the batteries that we have right now. Therefore, it's going to give us a lot more battery to use up during the day. It's a lot longer lasting battery than what we have right now. Some kind of update in the battery, and we'll be the benefiters of it. Outside of that, the new OLED iPad screen has been discovered that it somehow displays grainy and has problems. That's the new M4 iPad that's been put out there, and according to some people experiencing this problem when trying to do graphics, and it somehow puts some kind of a grainy shadow on the graphics. To continue, I have the next, just what I was not able to add to the presentation was that Apple is planning on rebooting Siri to 2.0. I keep calling that because last year a couple of the big wigs over at Apple sat down and started playing with chatbot GPT. After a couple of weeks or something like that, they found out that chatbot GPT can carry on a conversation, and they decided that, believe it or not, and this says over here that Siri is ancient compared to the chatbot released just now. So they decided that Apple's going to develop its own AI to get Siri into a conversational mode, providing basically the same services that chatbot GPT does. And it also indicates that Apple is going to contract or contact Google, contract Cohere, and even OpenAI to get this going. All this is to be presented to us at the development conference on the 10th of next month. They're afraid that if they don't do anything, that is Apple, the iPhone or the phone is going to just become a dumb brick. This sense of urgency explains the situation with the Apple Car. Because of that, when they found out that this is really a pressing problem, the Apple self-driving car has been discontinued, and all resources of it are being put into developing or developing Siri 2.0. I included the link in the news stories, and this is on what I just told you is just a little bit of what's really they're talking about. So please go ahead and log in and read the whole story. It takes up a whole couple of pages in a newspaper, so it must be really pressing to Apple. That's all I have for news. So on with the videos.
I put the links, the PDF is in the chat. You don't have to go to the BBS.
Okay, thank you, John. It's easier to just go into chat and open that up and actually read it. I had to hunt for it all over the internet because
I got one piece of news today from MacBreak this morning. They talked a lot about the bug that people had with old photos reappearing that had been deleted
after the update.
In the Photos app when they updated. It's a known bug. They documented it. And so if you had that problem or even not, then update last week to 17.5 fixes that and actually gets rid of them. It was a bug that you didn't see them. They weren't really deleted. But when you did something, then all of a sudden it thought it put them back. They weren't really deleted. So they fixed that. So you do want to do your update it affected at least the iPhone, I think the Mac too. Go ahead, on with the video.
The first video I have is from MacMost, and it's believe me, I went and I looked for the shortest ones out there. I got a couple of short ones. This is sort of short, but it's interesting. So here we go.
Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Here are some tips to help your MacBook battery last longer. MacMost is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 1,000 supporters. Go to MacMost.com/Patreon. There you could read more about the Patreon campaign, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. So when somebody says make your MacBook battery last longer, that could mean how many years it lasts before you need to replace it. But that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about when you're going through your day and you have no way to plug your MacBook in. How do you make it last longer while you're traveling, using it at school, or in some situation where you just can't plug it in? Well, the first thing you need to do is lower the amount of power your MacBook is using. One of the main things that uses power is the light from your screen. You can go to Control Center up here and you can go to Display and adjust the brightness. Now, it may look perfectly fine here or here, but down lower will mean it's using less battery. Maybe not that much less battery minute to minute, but over the course of an entire day that could stretch your battery life out considerably. Now if your MacBook has a backlit keyboard, not all of them do, then you can also reduce the amount of light coming out of your keyboard or completely turn that off. In macOS Ventura, you go to System Settings and then you go to Keyboard. There should be a setting for keyboard brightness. If you turn it all the way down, that turns off the keyboard backlight and will save power. So if you don't need this, turn it off. You also have the option here to turn off the keyboard backlight after some inactivity. So you could set that to say turn off after 10 seconds. So it'll be lit while you're typing. But as soon as you're not typing, maybe doing something else like viewing content, then it will turn off. And that could really add up to a lot of savings over the day. Now other things that use power are the wireless radio connections. So you've got two primary ones. You've got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Now if you're using both of those, fine, just keep using them. But if, say, you're in a situation where you're not connected to Wi-Fi, or maybe you're going to work for a little while and you don't really need to use the internet in any capacity at all, you could just turn off Wi-Fi temporarily. Same thing with Bluetooth. If you don't happen to be using Bluetooth right now, just turn it off maybe to save a little bit of battery power. Now how much battery power you're using at any given time depends on what your Mac is doing. Chances are you've got apps running, those apps are doing something, and whatever they're doing is using up power because it's using the processor, it's using the graphics, it's using the storage, all the parts of your Mac. So you want to limit what you've got running. Most of the time when apps aren't being used, they're just hidden in the background or you're not actually interacting with them, they're using hardly any power at all. But sometimes apps do use power in the background, particularly browsers. With browsers you can have many tabs open and some of those web pages are updating themselves all the time even if you're not viewing them. Look at which apps you've got running. Are there any that you just don't need now and you know you won't need for a while? If you're using your browser, take a look at all the tabs you've got open and think about what they're doing. Some of those might be very quiet and stable and not really using much power. Others may be doing all sorts of interactive things in the background, might be displaying videos and updating. If you're not using a tab, close it. Don't worry about getting back to it. It's easy to go back to a web page. Bookmark it if you want. But try to minimize how much you're using for each app to increase the life of your battery. Also, extensions really drain the battery too. Every extension you have installed is doing something additional with each web page. And sometimes the combination of a web page and an extension you have installed could mean a lot more battery usage. So go into settings, whether it's Safari or Chrome, and look at your extensions. See which ones you've got going and consider maybe disabling some of those or getting rid of them if you're not using them. So many times I've heard of people getting subpar battery life and then it comes down to some browser extension they've installed. And speaking of apps, note that native apps tend to be better for energy use. What do I mean by native apps? Well, I mean the built-in apps like Reminders and Calendar and Safari, and also Apple's apps like Pages, Numbers, and Keynote. The equivalents to those, something like Microsoft Word or Google Chrome, tend to use more power. It's not always the case and very often it comes down to what you're actually doing with those apps. For instance, a simple document in Word may use less power than a really complex document in Pages. Same thing with a simple page in Chrome versus a complex page in Safari. But on the whole, if you're trying to get as much time from your battery as possible, stick with Safari, Pages, and other Apple apps if you can. Now if you want to find out how much power apps are using, you can using Activity Monitor. Launch Activity Monitor and click on Energy at the top. And then go to Energy Impact and sort it so the highest numbers are at the top. Now any given moment that you're looking at the energy impact isn't going to tell you a full story. It's just going to tell you exactly what's going on right now. But if you find your battery is draining quickly, then maybe keep this open and every once in a while take a look at it and see which ones you always seem to notice are at the top. Maybe there are some apps that you're not even using right now that are at the top. Take a look at these numbers here. Obviously, even though these are at the top, they're using almost zero energy at the moment. You can also look at the 12-hour column here and see which apps have used the most power over the last 12 hours. If the app at the top is using a ton of power, but it's the app you're using all of the time, then of course that's natural that it's going to be using the most energy. But look for apps that maybe you're not using very much, yet they still rank high here. And then maybe think about not having those apps running at those times where you need to maximize your battery life. Now this one may seem obvious to a lot of people, but not everybody. If you have an iPhone and you plug it into your Mac, it'll charge your iPhone. Even if you don't intend on charging your iPhone, you just need to connect them for some other reason, it's still going to charge your iPhone. So try to not have other devices plugged into the ports of your MacBook. They're going to draw some amount of power either to charge the battery inside them or just to use those devices. Even if you're not actually using them at that moment, they still won't be drawing power. So the idea is have nothing plugged in to your MacBook unless you absolutely need it. Let's look at some more settings that can help. If you go into System Settings and then you go to Lock Screen, you're going to see a control here for Turn Display Off on battery when inactive and a time. So the idea is that you haven't done anything with your MacBook for say 2 minutes. It will turn the display off and greatly reduce the amount of power it's using. So set this as low as you can stand. If you have it set to something like 10 minutes, well it's easy for you to focus your attention on something else that you're doing, not your MacBook, and have your screen continue to use energy even if you're not using your Mac. But of course if you have it set to something low, it's as simple as maybe just touching the trackpad or pressing the space bar to wake the screen up, say if you're just reading something. Now some of the options here are going to be different depending upon which MacBook model you've got. For this M2 MacBook Air, I've got a setting here for low power mode and I can set it to only on battery. So it's going to reduce the use of power when I'm on the battery, which is perfect. Now I've also got a setting if I scroll down here and click Options for optimized video streaming while on battery. So if I turn that on, especially if I'm doing a lot of video streaming, then it will use less power. And then if you look at battery health, you can tap this right here and you've got information about your battery. One of the things you've got is optimized battery charging. So this is the automatic system where your MacBook battery won't charge all the way until just before you need it. So if every day you unplug your MacBook at 7 a.m. to get going, then it's going to know to not charge fully until just before 7 a.m. and then charge to 100%. But if you know you have this unusual situation coming and you want to have as much power in the battery as possible, switch this off in advance and then you can set it to turn off until tomorrow. So for instance, if you know you need to get up at 5 a.m. to catch a plane and you want your battery to be at max for the plane trip, well, turn this off until tomorrow. Then it'll charge your battery up to 100%, and when you grab your MacBook at 5 a.m. you'll know it's fully charged and ready for a long day. And here's one last tip, especially for those that have older MacBooks. Another big drain on power is having the fans run. Now on newer M1 and M2 MacBook Pros and MacBook Airs, this really isn't much of a problem. Rarely does the fan come on, and the MacBook Airs don't even have one. But for older Macs, they come on a lot more frequently. And as soon as that happens, you know you're not only using a lot of power for the CPU, that's what's causing the heat, but now you're using even more power because the fans are spinning. So try to keep your MacBook cool. Let air flow around it. Choose a cooler location to be using it if possible, and maybe minimize using any apps that are really going to heat it up. So I hope you find this useful. I certainly use all these techniques when I know I have a long day ahead of me and I won't get to plug my MacBook in until it's done. Thanks for watching.
Any questions or comments? If not, I have to tell you a little short story that while searching this and looking at these videos, in creating my keynote, I had to go to the office. To the post office and pick up all the mail. Pick up the mail. Then I travel over to the office and take my MacBook with and prepare all the checks, and I'm ready to send Lee a email with an attachment saying here's what it is added to the database. I open that up, everything comes up, and I can't do anything. It won't. It's telling me I have no connection. I have no connection. I have no connection. I sort of didn't know what the heck to do till I sat down and said, wait a minute, something's wrong here. I looked, and that little thing that shows you how many bars you have for Wi-Fi has a line going through it. And then I remembered, I read this, I went to turn it off to save battery power. I never did turn it on when I got to the office. So I turned it on, and I didn't know that it was going to take me for a loop here, but it did. So anyway, next one is...
So are you saying that you were in airport mode?
I had the Wi-Fi turned off. In other words, I went in there and turned it off because it according to this, what I read, what I heard, it's going to save battery because it's in my desk drawer just doing nothing. So I turned the Wi-Fi off, and so I went over there and I totally forgot about it. So, and I didn't look till I settled down. I said, wait a minute, there's an answer to it, and there was. So, and
Here's another little tip around Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Thieves drive around with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth sniffers these days, looking for vehicles that are emitting Wi-Fi or Bluetooth signals, looking for people that have stashed a laptop or a tablet or whatever out of sight in the car. So there are like these online videos where you see somebody drive by and then back up and go and smash a car window to grab a computer out of the trunk. So if you're leaving your devices hidden in your car, shut them all the way down so that they're not emitting signals.
Good advice, Kenji. Real good advice. There's a whole bunch of people out there with software that does all kinds of stuff, and let us, especially if you I heard about the Apple tracking things that you attach. They can actually talk to those somehow. So Anyway, the next one is we got 10 more copy and paste links tricks by MacMost. So here we go.
Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Here are 10 more copy and paste tricks for your Mac. MacMost is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 1,000 supporters. Go to MacMost.com/Patreon. There you could read more about it, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. So in the last video I showed you 10 copy and paste tricks. Here are 10 more. Let's start first in the Photos app. Let's say you go into a photo like this one, you edit it, and you make some adjustments. I'm going to adjust the colors. I'm going to make some light changes here. And let's say I like what I've done. I can click Done here and I'm done with this particular photo. With it selected I can go to Image and I can copy edits. Now I can select one or even several other photos like these. You go to Image and then Paste Edits, and it will apply those same changes to all those other photos. It's great when you have a sequence of photos of basically the same thing and you want to apply the same adjustments to all of them. There's actually something kind of similar in Pages. You can select some text and of course you can go to Edit, Copy. But if you look under Format, there's also Copy Style. If you copy Style and then select Other Text and then go to Format, Paste Style, notice the keyboard shortcuts are just Option-Command-C and Option-Command-V. Then it will apply that style to the text you have selected. A lot of people don't realize that you can use copy and paste in iMovie to copy a whole sequence of different elements from one project to another. So for instance, I'll go into this iMovie project here and I'm going to select 3 different things. I've got 2 different videos, one with some filters and color changes and title, and I'm going to do Command-C to copy, and then I'm going to exit this project and go into another one, and I'm just going to go to Edit and then Paste. And then I've pasted those elements here. It's great if you've created, say, a title sequence or closing sequence and want to reuse it over and over again in different projects. Also notice you can select a video clip like this and then copy and then go to another clip like this one here and then go to Edit, Paste Adjustments, and paste all the adjustments or just specific ones. So I could add all of them here and you can see how it makes this clip look like this one by using all of the changes I made to it. Now when you copy and paste a link and send it to somebody, they go to the entire web page. What if you wanted them to see a specific part of that page? Well, you can actually do a web link that will highlight some text on the page. Now to do this I'm going to switch to the Chrome browser. I encourage people to keep other browsers around. Even though I use Safari as my main browser, I keep Chrome around for various little things and this is one of them. So I'm going to select some text here on the page in Chrome and then I'm going to Control click, 2-finger click on the trackpad or right click on the mouse, and instead of choosing copy I'm going to choose copy link to highlight. So now if I were to paste that link, like maybe I would include that in an email message or a text message, notice that it has this special text here at the end that points to that exact part of the page. And if I look at it you can see how it highlights that. Now the cool thing about these links is even though you can't make these links in Safari, you can actually use them. So if somebody clicks on it and they're using Safari as their browser, they get the same long URL here, and when they use it in Safari, notice how Safari correctly highlights the text. Matter of fact, it does a better job than Chrome on this end of things. Hopefully we get the ability to create these links at some point in a future version of Safari as well. In the Calendar app you can copy and paste events. But the cool thing is you can decide what day the new event appears. So I can select this event here and use Command-C to copy. Now if I wanted to appear on a specific day, all I need to do is click in that day. Notice nothing changes. It doesn't indicate that I've clicked there. But if I do Command-V to paste, it will actually put the event there. And I could click somewhere else, paste again. It's going to use the same time, but it will change the day for that event. So it makes it easy to take, say, a previous event like a dentist appointment and copy it and then paste it somewhere else without having to start from scratch. So an interesting thing happens if you go to the Applications folder on your Mac and then you were to select an application, like let's select Maps here, and then copy. Now if I were to go into Preview and create a new document from the clipboard, I actually get the icon. I get all of the different versions of the icon at different resolutions here. If I wanted to use this in another app, like say put it into a Pages document, the way to do that would be to make some sort of selection here in the image, then do Command A to grab the whole thing, copy. Now I have an actual image, and if I switch to Pages here I can paste that image in. An easier way to do that would be to use File, Get Info, and then select the icon here, Command C to copy, and then go and paste it in directly like that, skipping Preview. And that second method works for folders and files as well. Now speaking of files, you can of course copy and paste files from one folder to another. I showed you how to do that in the last video. But you can also go to Edit, Copy, and if you hold down the Option key, notice Copy changes to Copy as Path Name. So now you can get the full path name for any file. Now if you just copy the file, in many cases, like in the case of this image here, you can actually then go and paste the file into a document like in Pages, and it will actually import the image. It's just another way to do a file import. Now when editing text in most apps that have text, you actually have a second clipboard. And this clipboard is part of old Linux systems. And the way it works is this. You use Control K, so it's Control not Command, to kill text. So it's equivalent to cut. And then you use Control Y to yank it back. Now the cool thing about this is it doesn't affect the regular clipboard. So I can copy the word this into the clipboard like that. And then I can do Control K to kill that word there. I can then Command V to paste this and then Control Y to yank back the second word. If you ever use Spotlight for things like calculations, note you can copy the results. So I'm going to do Command Space for Spotlight, and then I'm going to do a fairly complex formula there, and you can see I get an answer. Now without having to do anything else I can just simply do Command C to copy. When I switch to another app and do Command V to paste, it pastes the result. You can actually use this in a few other cases as well. For instance, if I do Weather Denver like that, you can see I get the result right there, and clicking on that would take me to the Weather app. But I can also do Command C and then I can paste it here, and it gives me a link that I can then use to go into the Weather app. Now one last one I want to show you is Universal Clipboard. You can copy and paste between your Apple devices. It's important of course that you follow Apple's instructions, including having them each signed in to the same Apple ID, having Bluetooth and Wi-Fi turned on, and handoff options turned on. You could read more about it at this page. And once you have that going, you can say select some text in one device, so here on an iPhone, and copy, and then on another device you can do Command V to paste and it will paste the text in. It should work instantly, but note that it only sticks around for a certain period of time. So whatever was in the clipboard on my Mac before would have returned to the clipboard after a minute or two if I didn't do anything with the Universal Clipboard like pasting it. So I hope you found these copy and paste tricks useful. Thanks for watching.
Any comments or
Yeah,
questions?
there were some amazing tips in there, and man, it was dense. He was going so fast, so that one definitely could use another view by me.
I have to agree with you there. He was really moving this time. I don't know why, but there's a lot of information there. I found interesting.
Well, he knows you're trying to keep the meeting going, so it was already at 9+ minutes. So I was thinking of you, Bruce.
Yeah, well, I'll be short. Okay, next we have how to edit pictures on a Mac, photos in 5 minutes. I always have issues trying to edit or do real editing on a Mac, so I'm interested in what this is all about. So here we go.
Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Let me show you the basics of editing photos in the Mac Photos app.
MacMost is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 2,000 supporters. Go to macmost.com/Patreon. There you could read more about it, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. So to edit a photo in the Photos app, the first thing you want to do is go to the photo in either your library or in any album. Double click it, and now you're viewing just that photo. Now you'll see an edit button at the top right. Click that edit button, and now you'll go into the editing screen, and there are 3 modes. You can see them at the top. Let's start with crop, and let's use this to straighten the photo. You can use the straighten tool here at the top and adjust to get it perfectly straight. You'll see these grid lines here, which will help you. So I'm going to leave it right there, and you can see how the grid line matches the top of the lake right here. Now to crop, what you need to do is grab one of these corners or an edge. So for instance, I can drag the bottom right corner in like this. You'll notice you get these grid lines here that give you the rule of thirds intersections, these spots right here where you may want to line up an interesting point in your photo. You can continue to crop in, or at any point you can push out as well. Also, once you've cropped in some, you can just grab the middle of the photo and move it around. You also have the ability over here to choose specific aspect ratios. So you can use original, or you can choose something very specific like square or 16:9. Next, let's go to the adjustment tools. And the first tool you want to look at is Auto Enhance. As a matter of fact, Auto Enhance is there even before you use the editing tools. If you click it, it's going to make adjustments throughout a bunch of these. You can see it adjusted light and color, and you can click it again just to go back to the original. Or you can make adjustments in any one of these categories. For instance, for light, I can click Auto. I can use this undo button here to remove it. I can expand this section here, and then I have a general slider where I can go left to right to adjust all of the lighting settings. But I can also expand options, and you can see how I can individually adjust things like exposure and brightness. So if you're going for something specific, you can use these. Otherwise, you can just use this slider right here, and the same thing here for color. You can use the general slider here to increase the colors or decrease, desaturate them. But you can also see all of the options to work with these settings individually. There's also the auto button for color as well. A typical thing you might do is under light and under options, you might want to work with shadows and highlights here to increase the brightness of the darker parts of the photo and decrease the brightness of the brightest parts of the photo. In addition, in color, you may want to work with saturation here to bring the colors out. When you're using adjustments here, you've got this button at the top left. You can click and hold it to see the original without the adjustments and release to see the adjustments. Another tool here is the retouch tool. Expand that and click on it to activate it. And all you need to do to retouch the photo is drag around in the area that you want to change. And it's going to try to heal the photo in that spot. In this case, getting rid of those rocks there. So you can use this in a variety of different ways on a landscape like this, or on a close-up of somebody to get rid of blemishes on their skin. Now the third section here is filters. You go into that, you have a small selection of filters you can use to change the mood. So I can go from the original to a vivid, warm version of this. And note that with each filter, you can adjust the percentage here. Now photos editing is non-destructive. What that means is you could always revert back to the original, no matter how many changes you've made. So you've got the revert to original button here at the top left. But even when you're not in editing mode, with the photo selected here, you can go to image, and then you can revert to original to go back, remove all the cropping, all the adjustments, and all the filters. Now, if a photo was taken with the iPhone using portrait mode, then when viewing it, you should see that indicated up here. You can then go into edit tools, and you'll find an extra set of tools here at the top, and also the portrait modes here at the bottom. So I can adjust the depth here, so unblurring the background if I like. I can also go to one of these other modes like Studio Light, and when I do, not only can I work with the depth, but I can change the lighting as well. As you saw there are also a lot of other adjustment tools, but if you want to go even beyond that, you can use your own external editor. With a photo selected, you can go to Image and then Edit With, and then choose any app on your Mac that will edit photos. So I could edit this in Photoshop, make changes, and when I save, it won't save it as a file, but back here to your Photos library. And also when you're editing a photo, you'll notice here this button with 3 dots in it. If you click on that, that shows you extensions added by third-party apps. But even if you don't have any of those apps, you're going to have
the markup tool here. You can go into that. Now you can do things like adding shapes or adding text to your photo. So those are the basics for editing photos in your Mac. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching.
My apologies. This is not slowing down. He's even faster this time, but any questions or comments regarding this? I don't know, man.
That was a good one too, I thought.
Yeah, it takes practice. I don't know. I'm not good at editing photos, so I kind of trash it more than I repair or make it look better or anything like that. Well, it gets better. Next one is it's real short, so here we go. It's from Apple and how to switch profiles in Safari on iPhone.
If you have multiple profiles in Safari on your iPhone, you can easily switch between them at any time. Here's how. In Safari, tap the Tabs button, then tap the Tab Groups button, and tap Profile. Now, tap the profile you'd like to switch to, then tap Done. Switch profiles, separate your browsing. To learn more about how to use your iPhone, subscribe to our Apple Support YouTube channel or click another video to keep watching.
Yeah, that was 38 seconds worth. And I wanted to find out what he was talking about, so here we go. I got to watch it again to really find out how he's switching profiles. But
Does anyone here switch profiles?
yeah, I don't. I need to find out what the real reason for to have different profiles.
Well, maybe it would be different sets of bookmarks, things like that.
It's a whole different set of preferences for Safari. You can like be a different person, like your business person or your work, private, everything changes. Your cookies, your bookmarks, your preferences, everything is two separate things. Like a different like switching to a different user.
Well, that's a good information. I thought it was like letting somebody else get on your phone or something like that and create its own profiles, which I wouldn't do.
No, that's not what it's designed for. Designed to be like work, home and work. So you have different bookmarks, different logins, basically it's like a whole separate set of preferences, like like you switch to a different user on the computer, but it's within one user.
Okay.
I wish they would do that with Apple Mail, like they can do in most other mail programs going back forever. You could switch to a different user, have completely different set of mail.
Yeah, that would be nice. Well, okay. Next one is by Alan and is how to quickly fill out the PDF form with Enhanced Autofill. I decided on this because a friend of mine is working on immigration forms and it's all PDF files. And I just wanted to find out how it could be easier, or anything easier than working with a PDF. So here we go.
Enhanced Autofill was introduced in iOS 17.2. The feature works on the iPhone, iPad, and Mac OS Sonoma. Autofill was previously limited to the Safari app. Unlike Safari, there isn't any setting you need to enable. Just be sure you have the appropriate OS on your device. Autofill can fill in basic contact information in PDF files. Users can tap on a form field or input area and the device will display suggested content for that field. Enhanced Autofill can save time and reduce mistakes by eliminating the typing of repetitive information such as names, addresses, phone numbers, or email. None of your information is stored locally on the device, so you don't need to worry about data breaches or unauthorized access. Here's a note. There's no way to enable or disable Enhanced Autofill. It's on by default. You must take some basic steps to get the most out of autofill on the iPhone, iPad, and Mac. To begin using Apple's Enhanced Autofill, you must have filled in the details on the My Card in the Contacts app. And to do this, we're going to open up the Contacts app. We're going to select My Card at the top of the screen. Once you've opened up My Card, you can tap Edit if you need to fill in any of this information, or you can go ahead and just scroll through to make sure that you've filled out your phone numbers, your email address, your home address, as well as your work address. If you're a Mac user and you're using the same Apple ID, you don't have to do a thing. If not, you'll need to open the Contacts app on your Mac. So you'll go to Mac, Your Profile, tap on Edit, and fill in the information there. But if you are on the same Apple ID, once you have filled out My Card one time, it will be synced across your devices. Now that your My Card details are filled out, you can begin to use Enhanced Autofill. So we'll need to open a PDF file. So I have one in my Files app. It's the tax form, the 1040. So when I first open it, the first time you open that PDF, you'll get this alert that says Autofill can assist with filling out this form. You can go ahead and tap that and say Autofill form. When you do, you'll see that this little icon up here, that's the autofill, Enhanced Autofill icon, turns blue. So if you open a PDF file and you don't get that alert, all you need to do is tap on this icon in the upper right corner and autofill, Enhanced Autofill will be activated. So if I want to fill out my home address, I can go ahead and tap into it. You'll see a little pop-up appears. I can go ahead, I'm going to put my work address in there, and you'll see that it automatically fills it out. I can tap in the area where it says my last name. That pops up and I can fill that out. It also then filled out my first name in the section below. I'm not sure why. I'll tap in above where it says my first name, pulls it again from the contact card, and I can tap on it and fill that out. So as you can see, once you tap on these things, you also have the ability, if you want to choose other. And if I choose other, it's going to open my contact information. And if there's another address that I need to fill in there, I just need to be able to locate that address using the contact information and go ahead, tap on it, and it'll fill that information in. If I want to add something extra like a signature or a text box, I can do that by coming up here and tapping on the pencil icon, and then you'll see the toolbar appear down below. If I tap on the plus icon, I can tap in Add Signature, and I can add or remove a signature, but I have a signature already ready. I'm going to go ahead and just tap on that, and you're going to see it pops it up. I can make that smaller by just dragging the corners. When I get it to the size I want, I can just drop it into the signature area. And once I have all of the information filled out and ready to go, I can go ahead and tap on Done in the upper right corner. And when I do that, all of the information has been saved to that PDF. So if I open it, all of that information should still be intact with the signature at the bottom. and so this is an easy way for you to fill out PDF forms. Enhanced Autofill is a great new feature, allowing you to fill out PDF forms on Apple devices quickly and with ease. The feature also allows you to save commonly used information and assign it to your forms. Let me know in the comments if you find this feature helpful. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
Wow, that was nice. At least was able to follow this one. No, the rapid fire. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Does that work on all PDFs? Because I've had some where it doesn't seem to work.
No, the form has to be created with editable areas to fill in.
Yeah, that's right.
The creator needs to do that in advance.
And you need to get your scan or some way, shape, or form your signature if you want to store your, include your signature in there, like she just did. And the way I did it a long time ago, and it's still there, was I had to write it on a piece of paper, hold it in front of the camera, and it took it that way. And it's still there, and it works. But I'm not, that's not the word I'm looking for. I always have problems with PDFs. In other words, it doesn't seem to work the way she was showing it unless I don't have enhanced something turned on, where if I need to fill a form, a name or fill a line, I have to actually drag the text box into it and do it that way. I'm gonna have to re-watch this one to find out how is she doing it so automatically.
It has to be created by the person who made the PDF with editable fields to click on them and have it type into it or what. Otherwise, you can select any portion and draw a box around it and make it like you're basically annotating it and type it in. But the creator makes the form with the editable fields.
I see. Okay. That'll explain that. Okay.
Go download it. Go to download a 1040 form. That's why she did that, because those are all created as editable fields.
Okay. Well, this person
or the DMV. If you go to the DMV and download a form, all their stuff is got it created with editable stuff.
Okay. All right. Well, that explains that one. So the next one and the last is an Apple thing, and it's how to use touch accommodations on your iPhone or iPad.
Customize your device to fit your needs. You can use touch accommodations to change how your iPhone or iPad responds to touch. Here's how. We'll teach you how to set up your touch accommodations and then show you how to use them. First, let's set up touch accommodations. In Settings, scroll down and tap Accessibility. Tap Touch and then tap Touch Accommodations. It's recommended that you first configure your touch accommodations before turning it on because it immediately changes how your device responds to touch. Tap to turn on hold duration if you need some extra time to confirm what you want to tap, which can help if you start to tap something you didn't intend to. Once it's on, you can increase or decrease the amount of time your iPhone or iPad takes to register your intentional input. If you increase the duration to 0.3 seconds or more, a circular timer will display around your point of touch. Swipe gestures allow you to swipe without waiting for the specified duration. You can also adjust how far your finger moves before it is recognized as a swipe. Ignore Repeat lets your device register a single tap instead of multiple inadvertent taps within a duration. Tap to turn it on, and you can increase or decrease the duration in which multiple touches are treated as a single touch. Let's scroll down and check out Tap Assistance. If you swipe when you intend to tap something, Tap Assistance can help. This lets you choose whether your initial or final touch location is read as your intended tap location. We'll choose Use Final Touch Location. When Tap Assistance is enabled, you can scroll down and increase or decrease the gesture delay. This is how long your device will wait before registering your intended touch location. When you're done, scroll up and you can tap to turn on Touch Accommodations to start using it. Now, let's use some of our touch accommodations. You can use hold duration to perform taps, like opening an app. We've set our duration for 2 seconds. Let's open Photos. Just touch and hold the icon until the duration timer completes. Now it's open. And if you enabled swipe gestures, you can swipe and scroll without waiting for hold duration to complete. If you inadvertently tap something more than once, you can use Ignore Repeat. We'll use Calculator for our example. When you tap multiple times within your set duration, Ignore Repeat registers it as only one tap. Perfect. If you swipe when you mean to tap, you can use Tap Assistance. We're using it with Final Touch Location, so the final place we touch registers as our intended tap location. To open an app like Messages, even if a touch starts at another location, you can drag your finger to the intended location and lift it within the duration you selected. If you chose Initial Touch Location, the first place you touch registers as a tap. Now you're exactly where you want to be. And that's how Touch Accommodations can help you tap and swipe in a way that works for you. To find out more about the accessibility features on your Apple devices, subscribe to the Apple Support YouTube channel or
So there we go. I have to try this. I didn't experiment with any of that stuff, so. But anyway, this is the last video, and if you don't have any questions or comments about it, it's time to party. And with this, we will have a question and answer session, and I will end my share.
Okay, so anybody who's watching on YouTube, you can see the next portion of the meeting, the Q&A, by getting the link on the BBS, or anybody for that matter who's here and wants to see the recording. You won't see it in the public YouTube, but you'll get the link on the BBS as it is every week. So I will now end the recording. So bye-bye, YouTube.